Hi everyone, my name's Kathy. Welcome to Skint Living UK. As we know, life is all about choices, and the decisions we make can be good and sometimes they can be bad, or in my case, a mixture. I'm talking about the world of work today. I've had a few people ask me, why aren't I working? And I've got 15 reasons for that. I know 15. It's a lot, isn't it? I used to work full time as a teacher, ICT teacher, computing teacher in secondary schools. And I packed in through stress, anxiety, fed up with overworking. I used to work 3, 4, 5 hours a night, every night, as well as doing after school club 4 nights a week. And I would go in over holidays just to try and help out year 10 and 11 do coursework, because my subject was 100% coursework. And if the kids didn't do the coursework, management would blame the staff, not the kids. So I'm coming. If you're not interested in the field of teaching, maybe this video is not for you. I've got the video in this format because I've got loads of notes on my computer, on my laptop, so I can read them easier. So apologies for that. Sorry about the glare because I'm reading my screen. I'm in my scruff today because I'm about to do some work in the bathroom and grout on the wall. I've got to clean the tiles up because there's adhesive on them and grout the wall up. So I'm in my scruff and you'll probably hear snoring noises in the background because my dog's asleep on the sofa. So apologies for all that, but if you're interested to know why I stopped working as a teacher, as a supply teacher, because I did that for 12 years, here are the reasons why. So you probably think, oh, it's another teacher moaning, but teachers have excessive workloads and there's no work-life balance because when you get home, there's still loads more to do. So let's get into it. Number one, I downsized in 2020. I had a mortgage on my old house. We'd been there 17 and a half years. My youngest grew up there from 2002 to 2020. So he knew nothing else. That was his home he grew up in. But after being on supply for so long and struggling to pay all the bills, my council tax I was getting hammered for because they expected me to have a crystal ball and tell them how much work I was doing. And I didn't know because it would vary greatly. Some years I would earn as little as £6,000. Other years I would earn, say, 10 grand. But every time I would get hit with full council tax because I couldn't actually predict the future. I would go in with pay slips and repeatedly in all the time, and yeah, it was mad. It was horrible because they would take me to court and then they would have a deck letter knocking at the door as well. It was horrible, and a big stack of letters by my door. The council tax, Liverpool Council, are horrible over council tax. So when we downsized, I got rid of my mortgage, paid off my council tax arrears, and had a clean slate in that regard. And I think once that biggest expense, as us Brits say, that monkey was off me back, I was like, do I really want to go back to work? Number two, from 2008 to 2020, I never had a pay rise. Nothing, not even inflation, nothing. So when people moan, oh, we only got this, we only got that, nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was doing this as a single mum with a mortgage and all the rest of it. I didn't have any child support payments for years, and when I did, I was getting £21 a month. So that was useless, wasn't it? So the learning assistants or teaching assistants, the name varies, their wages went up because it was basically minimum wage. So when minimum wage went up, their wages had to go up, but the teachers didn't. Number three, if I was hired for a long stint, like a full half term or a full term or a couple of terms, I was expected to work through dinner breaks. I never got any three lessons. A normal full-time teacher gets 4 lessons a week. Sometimes you're expected to cover for someone who's off sick, so you maybe lose one. But those 3 lessons aren't free for you just to sit there and have a cup of tea or go to the pub. They're for you to mark, prepare, make materials, schemes of work, all that sort of thing associated with teaching. It's all that, so there's less to do at home. And while you're in, but you still did it at home. I used to do 3-4 hours a night. Totally burnt out with it. And I just didn't get time to eat, didn't get time to drink, couldn't go to low because they'd put you on dinner duty. And a few times, because I would bring a pack lunch, I would say to the kids, do you mind if I eat something once I've got them set off doing the work? And the kids weren't bothered. But if any management went past, they would pull you for being unprofessional because I was eating in the classroom. So you were treated like a third-rate citizen. Number 4, if you did a long stint at the school, the management wanted you to do work that a full-time teacher would do, like schemes of work. A scheme of work is like all the topics they're going to cover, say, for a year, all the lesson plans for that, each individual lesson, all the materials for those lessons, and they wanted you to do that for free, totally unpaid and in your own time. Now, I've seen some teachers do it. There was this lovely maths teacher, and I'm a young lad, a little Irish lad, so lovely. He did it. He got dangled a carrot that there was a job at the end of it. He did a whole year's worth of scheme of work. By the end of the month, they got rid of him. But they had all that stuff there. I saw it time and time again, but I'll never forget that one because there's a year's work for them. Number 5, if I worked a full week, I would get hit with student loans. It was between about £88 and £100 a week, and childcare before and after school club. So basically, if I did more than about 2.5 days, I was losing money because the student loans would kick in and I was paying more childcare. So basically, I'd be working for 2.5 days for free, or free. And so it's like, so I said to the agency, I turned around and said to them, I just want to do 2 days a week because it's not viable for me. I'm paying a lot in bus fares, I'm paying a lot in childcare and student loans. Every other bugger's getting me money barring me. So as you can imagine, there's a hissy fit. So I'll go to a different agency and say, okay, can I just do 2? And they go, oh yeah. And then they kept offering me a full week. And I'd be going, I can't do it. I can't do it because if I do it, I'll have no money. And I certainly wouldn't get any help with my council tax because they said you were earning too much. So it was like they were penalising you for working more. So that's why I had loads of side hustles doing like this, that and the other, because it was just the only way we could live. Like I said earlier, number 6 is when when you're on supply, they dangle a carrot. Oh, if you do this for us, we'll take you back for another term. If you do this for us, there's a job at the end. If you do this, no, if you work a bit harder, be more professional, act like you're definitely like one of the already here as a proper member of the team, we will give you X, Y, and Z. And they never do. I've only ever seen someone get hired for an extra month. I used to fall for it at first, and then I realised, no. So, number 7. One of the good things about being on a supply, I'm just going to grab my coffee, as a supply teacher, is that you can go on holiday in term time because it's much cheaper, half the price. So I went away, once to Scarborough in September and once to Turkey, and those 2 times they rang me up and said, oh, we've booked you for the day. And when I told her I was in Scarborough, she was like, oh, you can get the train, you can come back to Liverpool. The one in Turkey was like, oh, you can get a flight and stuff, because that one was the next day's work. She'd booked me for 2 days. I had already told them I would be on holiday, I would not be available. And they said, oh, your contract says you must be available. And I said to them, I haven't signed a contract because I've only just started with you. Yeah, she was just like, pure, give me a rant on the phone because I wouldn't come home. So make of that what you will. So lesson learned, I just blocked them on my phone from then on. Number 7. No matter what agency I went to, they were all the same. They paid the same low wages, had the same horrible attitude with you. All nicey at first and wanted you at the beck and call because they were like, oh yeah, 2 days is fine, 2 days is fine. And then they'd be going, can you do an extra day here? Can you do it? No. Number 8, they would not offer me work as a teacher, but they'd say, would you come in as a teaching assistant, or would you do, which is slimy, both on the school's part, which I understand because they've got no money, and their part, a cover supervisor, which is like a plastic teacher, where it's half the wages. But the school still expected you to do all the duties as a teacher. So a cover supervisor is supposed to be given the work, they give it to the kids, and they stay in the room with them so the kids are safe and you make sure that they're doing the work. But you wouldn't like be standing at the front and be like, oh yeah, let's do this and do all the rest of it. No. Yeah, cover supervisor doesn't do that, but the school would have a go if you weren't doing that, but they weren't paying you the full wages for it. Number 9, sometimes they would ask me to do half a day as a cover supervisor, say an afternoon. So the cover supervisors used to get paid £60 a day. So if you got given an afternoon's work, that would be £30. So by the time I paid bus fares, and then I'd ring the school after school club and go, can you let my son come into after school club? It was gone. The money was gone. So it was like, was it worth me doing? No, it wasn't. I'd be working for and rushing to get there, and it could be miles away. Sometimes I'd have to get a train there as well, and I'm like, I'm working for free. No, so I stopped doing that, because it's just like, yeah, I haven't got mug written on there. Number 10, next one, number 10, I really taught my own subject at my CT, because my first degree is half science, environmental science. I would be asked to teach science or maths. So and I really taught my own subject. It was just like, yeah. So, science and maths is not an easy subject to teach. I was okay with it, but yeah, it's not like PE with all they've got to decide is what shape ball the kids are playing with that day, is it? And the most you can moan about is that you didn't bring the kit. I mean, I know PE teachers these days teach a bit of science, but a lot of schools I went to, there was teachers there, and I use the word teacher, PE teachers that were there for years, who'd never seen a whiteboard, who'd never seen an interactive whiteboard, who never did any marking, assessment, planning, nothing. They had a cushy life, and they were the ones, funny enough, that were always in management, because basically they did nothing. The most important person would be the one with the keys, because I had the keys to the cupboard where the balls were. I have a particular disdain for PE teachers, as you can gather, because I was just like that. Because I was just like, yeah, I'm doing 4 lessons a week after school for free, coming in over the first or second day of the school holidays. And they were going, oh, but we have a netball team after school. Yeah, but you sat on your bum the rest of the day though, haven't you? And you got the netball team coming to do it. Yeah. Anyway, number 11. When you went to a school, obviously you didn't know the procedures and all that. They would give you a leaflet and say, this is what this happens and all the rest of it. But some staff were absolutely lovely, very welcoming. But most of the time they would treat you suspiciously, as if like, oh, why come... they didn't say it, but it was implied, oh, how come you're on supply? They thought you were deficient in some way. Or you'd done something dodgy. Not the fact that you were sick of it and you'd left full-time work because you thought, oh, God. And it would be that petty over stupid things like someone's precious seat. And I used to go to people, but there's no name on it. Is it right to say, oh, if you use someone's precious mug? And they'd get really riled up if you made yourself a cup of coffee. So in the end, I just bring my own heated flask cup thing. I used to bring my pack lunch anyway. And I always used to say, is this someone's chair? Am I allowed to sit here? Some staff would laugh and other staff would be like, very po-faced, like Patricia. Number 12. Kids can be an issue. People always go, I'd never be a teacher because kids can be an issue. But to be honest, managements were always the biggest pain in any teacher's BUM. Ask any teacher. Kids aren't really the issue, it's the management, because they expect you to jump through hoops and do all these whiz-bangy lessons and have fireworks and explosions and oh, why they themselves, mostly PE teachers or drama, they're in drama departments, they're other ones, yeah, because they haven't got the workload as someone like science or maths. No, just haven't got the workload. So that's why they all end up in management, because they've got time to play kissy face, haven't they, with the management there. Yeah, so I ended up teaching all kinds of subjects. I'd be teaching science and maths and all kinds of things. Yeah, so the management were always on your case. What more out here when you couldn't possibly physically, mentally give any more than you did. I went to this particular school, right, and they were doing this science qualification, and they had these booklets. Now, they weren't proper bought booklets. They were made by teachers, A4 paper, stapled, and the kids had to work through them for each topic. So I brought a few of them home. So the next day, I got hauled in as if I was some big criminal and robbed these booklets. And I said to them, I brought them home to read. I said, because I've been finding them coming in. And I don't know what's happening because I'm reading it as the kids are doing it. I said, I brought them to read as a preparation. I said, I've brought them back. I'm not keeping them or framing them or whatever. And they were like, oh, you should ask. So every day I would make a point to the fella who supervised the supply teachers. I would go to him, I have got this booklet. I am taking it home today to read. I will bring it back tomorrow. And he would be laughing. He was like, there's no need. And I went, oh, there's every need. I said, I'm not being told off like a little kid because I am reading materials. And he said, oh, yeah. He said to me, he didn't like the management there either in this particular school. He said they were little Hitlers. And I agreed with him. He was lovely. He used to make me a cup of coffee and everything, and he'd ask how my day went and everything. Such a little old fella, lovely. I wanted to take him home and keep him as a pet. He was just gorgeous. His wife worked there too. It was just so nice. Number 13, the travel costs. Yeah, so as a supply teacher, you could be rung up at any minute, 8 o'clock in the morning, go to this school. So I would buy a bus pass because I got fed up because I never know where my money were. So in the end, I just buy a bus pass, and then if I'd work, and if it didn't, I'd go shopping with it, jump the bus, because as you know, I go everywhere on foot. So I thought it was, I know it's mad at this day and age, using the bus was a luxury. So if I had this bus pass, I'd go shopping, I'd go into town maybe or something like that. Go down Bull Street or something like that. I used to like going to Matters, the international food shop, and buy some spices and stuff like that. So yeah, the travel costs were punitive because, like I said, you're not working every day. 14 would be the expensive clothes and shoes because you were expected to wear a suit. Whereas full-time teachers don't, but on supply they expect you to, so I don't know what that ambiguity is about. I work shoes, and I'd never wear them out of school. So I was happy to not do that. So that's one of the first things that went when I packed it in. I thought, yeah, that's going. I put a few bits up on eBay, but the rest were, yeah, it's really shocking at them. And the last time I taught in a special needs school in the same week, I was given 3 classes in a hall, not a classroom, no desks, no work, 3 classes, so 90 plus kids with no work or nothing. And a management person went through and I said to her what was going on, and she told me off because they were too loud. And then that very same week, this was a special needs school. The kids had all kinds of issues. It wasn't just like a blind school or a deaf school. It was all kinds of issues. It was all kinds. And there was a sixth former, built really big, really wide, built like a brick SH1T house, as we used to say, in the UK, and he has a knife. It was during my lunch, I walked in and this lad was standing with a knife and there was other kids there, and he was just holding it like it was a normal thing to hold. And I got the teaching assistant who was behind me to go and get the management, and the management fella basically jumped on him and got the knife off him and dragged him off, whatever. And he said to me I was right not to tackle him. And then literally within a minute, I heard him talking to the teaching assistant saying I should have grappled him. I was on supply, single mum. If I got stabbed and died, no one's going to be asked about me dying, are they? So he was miffed he had to actually do his job, and openly calling me whatever to the staff in the room a minute later. So I just thought, no, thank you, I'm not doing this anymore. And that was just as we were before we moved. I just thought, no. Is it worth putting my life on the line for wages that has been stagnant since 2008? And she says, like a doormat anyway. Now, let me know, what would you do? Would you carry on working for the same wages as 2008? Would you go home and work another 3 or 4 hours for free? In your job now, would you work another half day for free? I don't think you would. Would you? Would you put up with management not letting you go to the toilet or have something to eat?